All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
YouTube, SHIPIT Nation, back with another episode of the Witching Hour, brought to you by Hoop and myself, Nades. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and I see our guy Tambo already in the chat. 800 subs. That's going to be the push today. We're sitting at 746 when I first checked when we stopped on the YouTube here. So it's going to be a little bit of a stretch there to get there, but 54 subs will do it. And me and Hoop were talking before the show. Our quote-unquote pitcher of the day and batter or home run call of the day will be withheld at the end. So let's see if we can get those 54 home. Obviously, not everyone's tuning in yet as the notifications go out here. We appreciate, guys, if you are new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Bringing you guys free content 6 days a week right here on this channel, all for free. Hoop, it was a very, very good day in the MLB streets over here at SHIPIT Nation yesterday. A lot of incredible calls. Our guy, Mr. Hoop, he's got his MME process dialing back in. Had some up there flirting with the top. He's getting there. How you doing, Hoop? How's everything going? How was your overall? I know you swept the cash game streets over there on FanDuel despite a little trolls on Twitter. But, hey, sometimes you got to fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah, it was a funny – you sent me the tweet where the guy had posted, I don't know, I think it was like a $20 head-to-head, and he beat me, and you kind of notified me that. I was like, man, that must have been like literally the only head-to-head I lost yesterday because I like fully doubled up my money. And sure enough, I think it was literally the only head-to-head that I lost. Swept the board and everything else, 50-50s, three-mans, multipliers, complete sweep, and then you get the one idiot that's taking the victory lap because he beat you. So it is what it is. And then, yeah, I mean, super close yesterday on DK in the, I think it was like at the $15 that they had yesterday. I had a couple teams in the top 10. Fell a little short, but it was a good day overall. And it was, the Philly stack. I mean, they're ranked the number one stack. My pitchers that I had up there in my GPP core report were part of that team. Alcantara gave up 5, but still grinded out a decent day yesterday, and he was very popular. We talked about it on the show. So, yeah, process is getting dialed in. Now is the time, like we always say, to join us over here at SHIPIT Nation. $59 or $5.99 for the annual. $59 gets you the monthly. And we kind of been talking about this where it's not only like the core report that we have, the core plays, the cash plays, but we have the whole other side as well with the tools and the projections, daily pitcher rankings that take a statistical analysis of every pitcher, hitter rankings, statistical analysis of all the hitters, and kind of ranks these guys in terms of, where they rank up against other first basemen, second basemen. So projections as well, which we've partnered with the Solver. So if you click through the link on our page and you partner with it, you get the Solver optimizer. Our projections come preloaded right in there. Very easy to use too. I mean, very simple. A couple guys reached out yesterday like, hey, if I take your cash core and plug it into the Solver, lock those guys in and just run it, is that a good idea of how to come up with a cash game? And the answer to that is absolutely, because it's going to give you the best values to go along with my core. So that totally works. And I think the team absolutely smashed. My guy hit me back up yesterday. He goes, well, that worked out pretty well because I absolutely dominated. So a lot of different ways you can use our tools here. Again, we're not just picks and plays and core plays type site. We have everything else to go along with it. And we're going to be improving along the way. We're not done improving this product. This is just the beginning. So you get in now at this low price, and as we improve, your price never goes up. So best value in the industry, one of the cheapest all-in price. I'd say it is the cheapest all-in price tag in the industry. Now is the time to join. Very exciting time over here at SHIPIT Nation.
Yeah, real quick, right off the top, I'm going to mention a couple people here in chat, and I see our guy Jay Steele right there. He posted it, right? Core plays, projections, and the solver equals cash money. The dude's up like $4,000 in a week. Said he paid for his paid for his annual subscription over here to Ship It Nation tenfold in a week and a half using our tools over here, and that's what we are. We're not a core play or bust type of site. We got all the tools, self-service, projections, top-notch optimizer in the solver, everything going over here working for once. A little housekeeping at the start, $59 a month. Again, Hoop mentioned it. $59 a month, $5.99 for the year does get you locked in now. We got NFL coming. We got another major coming up here in about a week and a half, right? The U.S. Open. Hoop and Tambo have you covered there with not a free show, a premium show, plus all their premium products over here, two of the best golf minds in the entire industry. And NFL, NHL, NBA, we have all the main sports covered. And if you've been browsing around the website a little bit, you might have seen a little sneak peek of some of those additional things and tools that we're going to have. Not all of it, just a little sneak peek on the drop down. Obviously, none of it's linked up or live yet, but we did want to highlight some of the stuff that we're bringing for these additional sports as we got questions asked. And not to mention, Founding Family. Got about a week and a half left to get the Founding Family memberships or the perks for being a Founding Family member. If you have not heard already, $6,000 minimum in free rolls and giveaways over the next 6 months, 12 months, special ticket giveaways during NFL, different things like that. At cost merch. Once we do launch some merch, we've gotten questions on the famous hashtag SHIPIT hat that Tambo wears all of his shows. I'll tell you right now, that's a one of one currently, but we're working to get some merch out here. And Founding Family members will get the merch at cost. We're not trying to make a profit out here with merch. It's just more used as promotional items is kind of how we're going about it. And plenty of other things coming with the Founding Family. So $59 a month, $5.99 will get you in at the best rate possible for life. So without that, Hoop, let's jump in and again, hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 800, get those plays of the day. And if you remember yesterday, Hoop, who was my pitcher call yesterday, my play of the day? And I didn't hit both of the home run calls today, but I did hit one. And that one helped you quite a bit in the cash game streets over on FanDuel. If chat remembers, it was Jake Berger. He went long, walk-off grand slam. Hey, we take it any way we get it. Doesn't matter if he hits it first inning, ninth inning, whatever. We'll take it extra innings. We'll take it any way we can get it. And Mr. Tristan McKenzie, 6%, dropped the 30 bomb on the slate. I talked about him the entire show, gave him out as my low-owned pitcher. He was in my core over here at ShipItNation.com. A lot of members printed money with that. So 800 subscribers will get you those plays of the day at the end, home run call, pitcher call. But, Hoop, let's talk about pitchers on this 7-game slate tonight because we want to be forward-thinking here, not always talk about the past. We got Aaron Nola at the top. Looks like the clear-cut chalk option. Let's go JP Sears, which is 7,600 all the way up to Nola at 10.2K. We got 5 guys here: Julio Teheran, Braxton Garrett, Martin Perez, JP Sears. What's your interest here? And then obviously hit on the clear 50 to 60% owned Aaron Nola here against your Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, it's not the most appealing upper range by any means. When you look here, we don't have the slam dunk, have to have them type play. Based on ownership, though, people do feel that is Aaron Nola. I'm good with Aaron Nola at home versus the Tigers. Huge favorite here. K-prop sitting at 6.5, juice on the over. I think it's a safe spot. I mean, he hasn't been great. Don't get me wrong. A dud against the Mets, a dud against the Braves, in Coors, another dud. So you can kind of give him the free pass. There's been some tough matchups for him recently. Had a ceiling game against the Cubs at home, 32 fantasy points. He's been better at home this year, to be honest with you. So at home against Detroit, I'm interested. I know he's going to be highly owned because there's not much else up here. But yeah, I'll definitely have some of him. Blake Snell right behind him, I'm assuming gets some ownership, but he's been hit or miss, 9.7. In my 150, I will have some exposure to him because he can have these ceiling games where he does strike out a lot of guys. Teheran definitely not at 8.7, and he's been fine, but 8.7 for Julio Teheran, no thank you. Braxton Garrett, another guy like quite a bit, 8.3K. Has the upside. I mean, he's had in his last 5 games 6, 8, 8, 3, 7 strikeouts. Now he gets a pretty good matchup here against this Royals team who, man, they just, I don't know, they just don't get the job done offensively. So I like him quite a bit, probably my second favorite up here. And then I'll be out on Perez and Sears. So for me, Nola 1, Garrett 2, and then, some Blake Snell for full MME. But yeah, it's a weird pitching slate. It's not, a super appealing slate for pitching. I think it's more of an offensive slate in terms of, how you build your teams, prioritize that offense first, and then come back and see what you have for pitcher. But I'm good with Nola. I'm good with Garrett, and then I'll have some Snell.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you in lockstep here. I get Nola's the clear-cut chalk option. I just don't care. I'm not scared of this Detroit Tigers lineup. I mean, they do have some pretty low strikeout guys there in the back half, but, I mean, they're still got guys in the middle, 24, 29, 30% K rates. Jake Marcisniak down there in the 9-hole, over a 30% K rate. And a team expected ISO of 137. Expected WOBA numbers pretty low as well. So I do think Nola can bounce back here. I just have more faith in him. The game log watchers are going to say, well, he's only averaging 15 DraftKings points, right? He's 10.2K, but you hit on Hoop. The nature of this pitching slate, there isn't the slam dunk plays, right? You can poke holes in all these pitchers here. I just feel most confident in Nola along with the rest of the industry. That's a chalk point that I'm just okay eating here. I have the salary to go there. We'll hit on it. I saw chat's already talking about Abbott there against the Brewers. The chalk pitching right now seems to be play Nola, play Abbott, and find whatever 5-man stack, play all the most expensive hitters, and kind of go from there. So we'll touch on that once we get into the lower range. So for me in this range, I got Aaron Nola number 1. I do like Braxton Garrett. So if you have worries about the Phillies and Aaron Nola here against the Tigers, I'd be more than happy just to jump down to Braxton Garrett here. I think Braxton Garrett has a very solid matchup here against the Royals. I mean, they have a 25% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching on the road this year. And we just saw what happened yesterday to the Royals. Mr. Bobby Witt was very, very hurtful for me personally. But overall, I mean, they got guys in this lineup that are striking out. I mean, Nick Prado, their leadoff hitter, strikes out at a 30% clip against left-handed pitching. So I'm not afraid of going right back to Braxton Garrett here. He's been solid. So for me in this range, I actually got ownership considered and matchup. And I'm going to put Braxton Garrett number 1 and then right behind Aaron Nola. And I don't really have any other interest, to be honest, in this range. JP Sears might be just as slightly interesting because I am seeing the Pirates getting a lot of ownership here. And that's because their price tags, who we talked about it before the show, right? Everyone's going down to Abbott because the Texas bats are expensive. Cardinals bats are expensive. I mean, the Phillies, people are going to go right back to the Phillies. They're expensive. The Astros are expensive. The Pirates have some expensive bats that are going to get ownership. So people are trying to find salary, and the Pirates as a stack are contesting as, at least what I'm seeing, one of the highest owned teams as a stack overall on the slate. And that just seems a little strange to me. The Pittsburgh Pirates, it's obviously due to their implied run total, right, being over 5. Bullpen behind Sears is not good overall, but that would just be more of a low owned. And hey, Hoop, on a 7-game slate, it's sometimes nice to go a little contrarian, right? Because you can really jump up the leaderboards on these smaller slates very quickly. But overall, let's jump into the rest of the pitchers on the slate. Alek Manoah all the way down to Andrew Abbott. Obviously, Abbott's going to be a talking point here. I'm seeing 30+% ownership on him. Personally, I like a guy quite a bit at that $6,900 price range. Hit on him going against Oakland there and anyone else in between.
Yeah, pretty clear range. I mean, only 2 plays here, not down low for me, and like them quite a bit. Oviedo, 6.9K at home against Oakland. The K prop is sitting at 5.5, a little bit of juice on the over. We talked about the Oakland lineup, nothing to be afraid of. This ballpark is definitely one that's plus for pitchers. I think he's a phenomenal play at 6.9K. I'll be all over him. I think in all formats. You can play him in cash games. You can play him in tournaments for sure. High stake stuff, low stake stuff, full 150. I think he's a phenomenal play at 6.9K. And then Mr. Andrew Abbott 4K flat, and I was doing a little digging. I know you were as well. This isn't just some random call up. This guy was like dominating the minors. Like so far, 90 strikeouts in 54 innings. Like, man, this guy has been like lights out. Now, obviously, a little bit of a different story, pitching in the major leagues, but this guy appears to be the real deal at home here. Big strikeout upside. He's 4K flat on DK. I think they brought him into the player pool on FanDuel at 8K, so not as interested there. But 4K flat on a slate where there's not a ton of standout pitching, I think it's well worth the risk today to take a chance on this kid. And I don't even think it's like a risk. Like, worst case scenario, he's going to pick up some strikeouts. There's no doubt about it. So I think there is a little bit of a floor baked in as well, which, typically we don't get out of a 4K flat guy. So I am very interested in Abbott, Oviedo, and then like easily just fade the rest of these guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, real quick, I got to call up my dude here, my boy, Razzle. Shipped a big 50 stacks with a single bullet on Saturday on the early slate. Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Him and I know each other in real life here. He lives about 25 minutes from me. We play softball and golf and stuff like that together. So congrats on that. That was absolutely incredible. I've known him for a long time. He actually got me started in the DFS space way back back in the day. So congrats again, Razzle, on that. That was absolutely incredible. Good stuff there. But hitting on this range, I see some guys in chat talking about imagine just jamming pitchers against Oakland. I'm a numbers guy when it comes to pitchers, and when you got a lineup that's confirmed 31% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching, and on the flip side, Oviedo has about a 20% strikeout rate, expected ERA under 4, and limits hard contact, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to continue to play pitchers, especially when he's not getting a ton of ownership. I mean, he's going to be 20 to 25%, but when you got guys that are in a better ballpark that are getting more ownership, but I think Oviedo has the ceiling, so I love him. He's my favorite guy down here. Another guy I do want to bring up is Mike Mayers. Not Michael Myers. It's not Friday the 13th here, but Mike Mayers. I do think he is interesting. The dude's going to be a long reliever for the Royals. He's going to come in, and he's been incredible. If you look at his numbers, 27% strikeout rate almost, expected ERA under 4. And I'm not really afraid of this Marlins team. Yeah, they don't strike out a ton, but they just don't have power. I talked about it yesterday, Hoop. They got the job done for you, Little League Baseball style. So congrats there. But I do think Mayers has some upside here, and he is 6,600. So you want to talk about a unique pairing, just go Oviedo and Mayers there and have all the money in the world to spend and avoid everyone else. Not that I recommend that, but it is a viable option here. And then obviously the talking point of the slate, Andrew Abbott down there. In AAA this year, he's got a 34.8% strikeout rate. And everybody knows the Brewers are the best matchup for left-handed pitching in all of baseball. They're 27th in ISO, dead last, I think, in WOBA against left-handed pitching. Even the year before that, he had a 31% strikeout rate in AA. So this kid is good. He's a very good prospect. 4K is just a flat misprice on DraftKings. I even like him quite a bit at 8K over on FanDuel. I think makes a lot of sense. We don't talk about FanDuel too much over there, but when you can find pitchers in that 8K range over there, Hoop, it allows you to spend up at bats. And who's to say he can't go out there, and even if the Brewers do tag him a little bit, he's going to pick up strikeouts, especially on DraftKings. So I think this is a double leverage situation here. You can play both sides personally. 4K, it's just hard to really kill you at 4K. But I do think when we talk on bats, some of these Brewers are slightly interesting just on their numbers, the ones that can hit lefties. And the Brewers did roll out 7 right-handed bats, too, against him. And we've seen it just happened last week, right? Hoop, the rookie, I forgot who it was or where it was, making his major league debut, had incredible minor league numbers, comes out and gets absolutely shelled, right? So it's bound. It can happen. It's very good hitting weather in Cincinnati, Great American Small Park. So this could go one of two ways. He could come out here and mow like the industry expects him to at the ownership, or, he could come out here and get shelled like we've seen a lot of these pitchers. So I like both sides of that, but he's definitely in play at 4K. For me in this range, it's definitely Oviedo number 1. I would put Abbott number 2, and then Mayers slightly as a GPP punt option. Any other thing to add on pitching, Hoop, or let's jump into game by game here?
Yeah, definitely good with that. I mean, it's going to be a tight group for me at the pitcher position, probably playing 4 or 5 guys. And then our guy, Jay Steele, good point. 6:40 Eastern lock today. So usually like 25 to 30 minutes earlier than normal. I actually almost forgot about that. So I'm glad he mentioned it. That's why I posted it. But no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Appreciate that. Jay Steele, the dude's been on a heater over here. We love to see that, rocking the SHIPIT avatars. We got a bunch of different avatars that we just posted in the Discord too. So go ahead and throw those on your accounts and rep them. And they've been proven to have some pretty good success as of late. So let's jump into the Royals and the Marlins here. We talked on pitchers on both sides of this game. Personally, I'm on the pitchers in this one here. Hoop in Marlins Stadium. 3.3 implied run total for the Royals. 4.3 for the Marlins facing Mayers and basically a bullpen for Kansas City. Braxton Garrett, I personally love on the flip side. So I'm off this game for bats. Do you see something I don't?
Royals hurt my feelings all weekend. I mean, they've just been a disappointment overall. And I like Garrett, so I'm not playing any of these Royals guys. I feel good being off of them. Bottom of that lineup just looks like complete shit. So definitely off the Royals. I do have interest in the Marlins, though. Kind of played them a little bit over the weekend. They put up some runs. It was pretty consolidated, though. The one night I know Araz had the 5 hits, and then yesterday Cooper had the big home run. They're at home here, bullpen game. I'm going to get some exposure to the Marlins. It should be virtually unowned, but I do like them a little bit as a low-owned stack. I'd focus, though, on the main dudes kind of up top with the power. The bottom guys I don't have a ton of interest in. And even like a 3-man stack. It does suck, though, with Soler not in there. Definitely hurts him a little bit. We talked about that on yesterday's show, but then, Cooper came up with the big hit. So in on the Marlins a little bit as a low-owned team, definitely not on the Royals at all.
Yeah, the only thing I'll continue to die on this train, Mr. Bobby Witt against left-handed pitcher. I do like Braxton Garrett, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Bobby Witt. I mean, I was talking about it a little bit in the Discord, right? It's not crazy to go out there and think Bobby Witt hits a bomb or steals a couple bases and Braxton Garrett also strikes out 8 guys, right? There's not 9 Bobby Witts in this Kansas City Royals team. So I do like Bobby Witt quite a bit. MJ Melendez actually surprisingly has pretty good numbers on the road, lefty this year. So I don't hate a little 2-man there against a pitcher that's going to see probably 30+% ownership here. But overall, I can't stack either one of these sides. The Royals just would be more of a hedge on the numbers. And I haven't played the Marlins. It hasn't killed me, but I'm not Hoop over here. Hoop's got a little soft spot for his Marlins over here. So yeah. I'm off the Marlins. I do like Bobby Witt and MJ Melendez there, 2-3 in that Kansas City lineup. Even obviously Salvador Perez against the lefty. But I'm not paying. I like other catchers at this slate. So just those 2 for me. Let's move into the next game here, which is also pretty ugly game on one side for me in the Tigers, 3.17 implied run total. I just have zero interest in the Tigers against Aaron Nola. On the flip side, the Phillies did it yesterday. Hoop, are they going to do it again? 5.55 implied run total. It seems like the chalkiest stack of the day, currently at least. And we see it all the time. I mean, what they score, 11 or 12 runs yesterday, 40% owned. Kyle Schwarber hits a double dong, absolutely tilted my face off. The dude was batting 160 on the year. Obviously, he had incredible numbers, right, against the handedness, but batting 160, 40% owned. I faded it, and, well, I got buried there. So talk on the Phillies for me, Hoop. Are you going right back to the train?
Yeah, I'll be back on them. I think the lefty-lefty matchup will keep this overall stack. For Schwarber and Harper, the lefty-lefty matchup will keep it a little bit in check. I'm interested for sure. I mean, Trey Turner has been a disaster this year. I mean, he just has not done anything. Castellanos had the big game on Friday night, I believe. Drew Ellis hit 2 bombs yesterday. Big game for him. He's still 2K flat. Or wait, no, he's 2K on FanDuel. My bad. Is he still 2K on DK? I had the wrong thing up. He is 2K on DK, first base and third base eligible. So I do like the Phillies today. You can get them for cheap. Edmundo Sosa, 2.3K flat. Real Muto at catcher you can play. So I think a lot of different options here in terms of how you can stack up this Phillies team. I'm interested, but I am not playing the Tigers at all. I have no interest in anything here. I'm going to be on Nola. Tigers bats, no thank you, one bit. So that's kind of where I'm at here.
Yeah, Tigers were the first team I crossed off on this slate for bats. Can't play everyone, and I'm certainly not playing them. I don't care if it's against the highest owned pitcher on the slate. This Tigers team is just not good. So out on them pretty quickly, easy pass. On the Phillies, I haven't played the Phillies all week. I didn't play them yesterday. Obviously, that was hurtful, but I still had about a 4X day overall because I had the Brewers and I had Mr. Jake Berger and I had Tristan McKenzie. So you put those together and it was a pretty profitable day despite not having a single Philly in any of my lineups. That's probably going to stay true here tonight again. I get the upside. Obviously, Drew Ellis there, 2K flat. I'm expecting him to see a decent amount of ownership. I mean, DraftKings just didn't move his price at all. FanDuel didn't move his price. The dude dropped 50 DraftKings points about yesterday at stone minimum. So expect him to get a decent amount of ownership there in the 7 hole. Schwarber and Harper should be lower owned lefty-lefty. They can hit lefties fine. So you can obviously go to this. I just like 2 other stacks more or 3 other stacks more than Phillies here. So I'm just going to take the ownership discount and hope the Phillies just don't bury me again here. So I'm off the Phillies overall, but I definitely get the love and the reasoning why they're getting love. I just didn't personally get there myself. Let's go ahead and jump into the next game. Before we do, Hoop, let's hit the subscribe button. If everyone's new, we got about 200 people in here. If you have not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And in the chat, go ahead and post our guy Tambo. We're going to be doing future giveaways and future things, picking comments from the YouTube videos. So go ahead and comment your favorite pitcher, your favorite stack in the chat. We definitely appreciate that. We appreciate all the interaction here. And hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to 800 subscribers. We'll give you the plays of the day at the end, a pitcher call, home run call, and they've been good. And Mr. Hoop's plays don't miss. So you definitely want those. Hoop, next game, Oakland Athletics here, 4.2 implied run total. Obviously, you and I both love Oviedo here. Some of the guys in the chat don't agree with us, but I'm pretty easily off the Athletics here. I know some of them are getting a little bit of love here. Prefer like more particular, Brent Rooker, Seth Brown in the middle of the lineup there, just at the salaries. They have some power, so I get the reasoning why some people are going to them because, again, you need some salary on this team or on this slate, to build your rosters with these high-end bats, especially a team that we're going to touch on in a little bit. On the Pirates side, the Pirates are getting quite a bit of love, Hoop, and I already talked about a lot of their price tags. Some of these guys are checking out pretty good on our hitter rankings over here that haven't missed as of late. So are you going to go to any of these Pirates here? It seems like maybe a team you might have interest in, and talk on the Oakland side as well.
Yeah, so not going to play the A's at all, and nothing that really stands out to me. I like Oviedo. I'm going to be on him, so I'll be fading the Oakland bats. The Pittsburgh bats, I do have some interest, but it's like a consolidated group of guys. This isn't a lineup where I want to mess around and play dudes at the bottom. Like I'm just going to focus on the main guys: McCutchen, Reynolds, Connor Joe. I hate the fact that Carlos Santana is right there in the middle of the order. That just tilts me because he sucks. But Rodolfo Castro, Brian Hayes. I want those guys. So I'm going to stack it up, but it's going to be just their main guys, to be honest with you. And it's fine. I don't think they're going to get like a ton of ownership today. Connor Joe stands out as a value play, maybe cash game eligible, 3.3K in the middle of the order, first base and outfield eligible. I think it's definitely a good price tag for him. So in on the Pirates, but it's going to be with their core guys, passing on the A's. And then, you kind of touched on it, trying to build up this channel and get the subscribers up. I was going to be like much nicer than Tambo. Tambo said 800. I was going to say 775. Just get us to 775 and we'll get to the, home run calls and the pitcher calls at the end. But Tambo said 800. So we're sticking to this 800. Right now we are at 764. So a lot of work to get there. Again, I was going to say 775, but Tambo came down with the 8 bills.
Yeah, Hoop, the best thing about Tambo being in the chat and not on the call, we can make executive decisions over here. Tambo is the dictator, lives up there in Canada. And good thing is we got the keys to the house here, Hoop. So maybe if chat continues the interaction, still hit the subscribe button, see how far we can get. But maybe we'll give the people what they want, but we'll see how they respond. Again, hit the like button as well. We're sitting at 95 likes, pretty good, 210 watching. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes as well. Helps us out a ton over here on our brand new YouTube channel. And little update, our Twitter is not permanently suspended. We didn't do some mischievous stuff over here. It's an issue with Twitter Blue. Obviously, we're just trying to give Elon our money over here for Twitter Blue and changing some phone number stuff around. And they suspended us because we moved the phone number all the way up to Canada there. So we should have our Twitter back hopefully pretty soon. So we apologize for that inconvenience there. But follow myself, my handle's there, Hoops handle, Tambo. We always tweet all the shows out and all the information as well out on all of our personal channels. So that should be back up shortly. But Hoop, let's I should probably break down this game first before we jump into the next one. But Athletics for me, quick, easy pass here. I do like Oviedo. He's my SP2 on this slate. On the Pirates side, I have interest in 3 guys in particular. Brian Reynolds, Connor Joe. I like Connor Joe quite a bit there, 3,300 in the outfield. I think he's pretty sneaky here today. He's been good as well. Nice little value play there in the outfield. And then Rodolfo Castro, I saw some people talking about him quite a bit. He ranks pretty high in our second base rankings over here. And if you look at second base, it's all the way up at the top, and then it falls off pretty quickly after you get past Semien and some of those guys at the top. Hoop. So I do think Castro makes some sense there. A little 2-3-5 stack. I'm not playing old dusty Carlos Santana batting cleanup there. I just can't do it. So I'm not stacking these Pirates, but mini stack I do think make a lot of sense. Hoop, I have quite a bit of interest in this next game on one side in particular in the Astros, 4.9 implied run total, facing Alek Manoah. And chat was asking, can we play Manoah? Personally, I think absolutely not. I think he's broken, and I think these Astros make a lot of sense here. I'm not seeing a ton of ownership going their way, and I think they can get to Manoah quite a bit. Guaranteed ninth inning at bats here. Pretty good hitters park in Toronto after they moved the fences in and made some changes here. Blue Jays also have a pretty good implied run total. I know we've had some success over here playing Brandon Belock quite a bit. Do you have interest in either of these sides? And more importantly, talking the Astros in particular.
Love the Astros. I think it's one of the better spots on the entire slate here on the road against Manoah, who, last year was solid. I mean, he's been solid up until this season. Like, something is not right, like you said. Total in this game sitting at 10. I think the Astros are in a phenomenal spot. Stack purposes, cash games, whatever. I mean, however you want to play them, I think they are in play, just about top to bottom. Yordan Alvarez, top bat on the slate for me. You get Dubon up top, second base and shortstop eligible, like 3.4K. You get a shortstop if you can play Dubon at second, Pena at shortstop, 4.8K. Tucker has a ton of upside. Love this lineup. Love the Astros tonight. On the Toronto side, they're showing up as one of the highest projected scoring teams on the slate. I'll have some, definitely not my favorite stack. I mean, Belock has been pretty good, and the Blue Jays have been somewhat frustrating this season. So definitely prefer the Astros side here. Going to have a bunch of them in stacks, 5-mans, 3-mans, however you want to do it. Blue Jays, I'll be on them a little bit, but probably like my 4th or 5th stack, to be honest.
Yeah, some people think it's the pitch clock that got Manoah. I kind of side with our guy here, Jay Steele. I think it might have been the all-you-can-eat buffet over there, Golden Corral. Might have got Manoah a little bit up there in Toronto. But either way, I do love the Astros here quite a bit. They're definitely a top 2, top 3 stack for me in terms of 5-man. Dubon, young stud, young prospect. He was with the Brewers for a little bit there. I love him. Jeremy Pena, Yordan Alvarez might hit two home runs today. I love him. You pay for it, 6,100 in the outfield, but I think he has the most upside on this slate personally. So I absolutely love him. Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman. I think you can play any of these guys. Even Yanier Diaz down there, 2,700 at the catcher position, batting 8th. I think makes a lot of sense. So I love the Astros here. I haven't personally been on the Blue Jays. I'm not going to jump on here. I know their implied run total is pretty healthy there, but I just much rather flip to the other side in the Astros. It's not like one team's going to be mega chalk, the other's not, kind of thing. It's just I much prefer the Astros. A little bit boost there, guaranteed 9th inning at bats, and I'm just going to bet on Manoah being a broken Manoah that we've seen as of late. Matt Chapman, I'll bring up every time he's on the slate. The dude just continues to produce. 4,900 there at third base, I think makes a lot of sense. And obviously, you can always play Big Vlad there at first base. But I do like other guys there at the first base position on two of the other stacks that I'm going to talk about that we'll get to in a little bit. But Hoop, let's jump into the next game. Great American Small Park here. Very good hitting weather. Very good hitters park. And we got Julio Teheran on one side, who's been actually surprisingly really good. I mean, he's got a expected ERA very low. His actual ERA is very low too, like 0.89 or something. I think he's made 2 starts here for the Brewers. But very low strikeout guy, kind of just goes out there, game manages, and gets through it. Personally, I don't think he has the upside at 8,700 that you want against the Reds team, who a lot of people I think are going to go to this Reds side in terms of the stack. I'm seeing them pretty highly owned, obviously good hitting park, and people want to play Abbott quite a bit at a pretty high clip. So they're pretty easy just to grab Abbott, grab some of these Cincinnati Reds bats against these Brewers guys. Brewers haven't had a great bullpen, which is kind of new to them. They've historically always been a good bullpen team, but not so much this year. Talk on any of these Brewers guys as leverage off of the min price guy, and talk on any Reds you have interest in.
Yeah, so, we talked about Abbott, definitely on him at 4K, but I think we're both kind of in agreement that you can also play some Brewers bats, and that's what I intend on doing today. More 3-man type. Who's batting third for the Brewers? Is it just
William Contreras.
Okay, yeah, for some reason not popping up here. Okay, there it is. Yeah. 3-man stacks here. I mean, this I don't know how to pronounce his name, Mona Stereo. Hit a bomb yesterday, left the game. Well, he's playing tonight. He's 2.3K, batting shortstop, or batting second, playing shortstop. I'm very interested in him. William Contreras, I think he can play. Brian Anderson. More interested in these righties here. But again, like I said, it's going to probably be 3-man stacks for me. I don't think I want to go like all in on the Brewers. Same thing with the Reds. Not a believer in Teheran. But also not a big believer in the Reds lineup. So I don't want to 5-man stack the Reds. I want to, pick a few pieces that I like. So maybe it's more of like a 3-man stack or one-off situations. Neither team is going to be a full-on stack for me. I'm going to pick, on the Brewers side, some right-handed bats that I like, specifically that shortstop, 2.3K, that, draws my attention immediately. Easy play for cash games too, like fills the shortstop position. He's super, super cheap. You can do a lot of other things. And then on the Reds, yeah, it's like Fraley I like. India is fine. Our guy Steer batting fourth is fine. So it's going to be 3-man stacks on both sides for me here.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of in agreement. I prefer the Brewers side a little bit more as a mini stack, just at the discounted ownership, the double leverage there with Abbott, and just more of a bet on. I get that this guy's got incredible minor league numbers, but when you come up to the big leagues, it's a little different ballgame. Hoop. We've seen it quite a bit with these guys making their start, and it's not like he's pitching in Dodger Stadium or somewhere crazy, right? I mean, he's in Cincinnati, one of the best hitters parks on the slate in Great American Field there. So I do like William Contreras smashes left-handed pitching. 4,400, that's a great price tag there. Brian Anderson hits left-handed pitching very well there, batting fifth. Third base, outfield eligibility, 3,400, very nice price tag. Luis Arias is making his debut here, or his season debut. I don't think he's played, at least he hasn't seen a left-hander all year. I think this is his first game or one of his first games. Don't quote me on that, but I think he makes a little bit of sense there. I typically try and wait and see approach with these guys coming in with the new rules and stuff, but I think he makes some sense. The most important thing that stood out to me is they loaded this lineup with right-handed bats to attack this guy. So I do think there's some holes you can poke in this guy. Joey Wiemer down there in the 8-hole, I always like him, 2,400. I think he can get into Abbott here and possibly hit a bomb. I think he's got 6 bombs here on the season. Very good batter's eye too at the plate. More of a boom bust guy down there, but I do think some of these Brewers should be pretty low owned, and I think that they got guaranteed 9th inning at bats, pretty good hitting conditions too. So it definitely makes some sense. On the Reds side, it's the standard guys, but a lot of these Reds have gotten priced up, obviously, because they've been dropping nukes on the slate over the weekend, and the good hitting conditions here in the Midwest. Jake Fraley, Matt McClain.
Fraley got scratched. Just happened.
Yeah, so that obviously we'll see what happens to their new lineup, but that definitely don't play Fraley then. Scratch what Hoop and I just said. You don't want to take a 0 there, especially at 4,800. But lowers my interest a little bit more in these Reds too. When a guy like Jake Fraley there, who's been playing very well. But I still think you can go to India, Spencer Steer there. But overall, I don't have a ton of interest in these Reds as a stack. I more prefer the mini stack on the flip side here with the Brewers. Next game on the slate here, I got the Cardinals heading in to face Texas. I love offense in this game on both sides, preferably on the Rangers side, much like everyone else will. The Rangers will be – they won't go under-owned, but they're projecting pretty low owns just because – we talked about it before the slate. They got everyone in this lineup is almost 5K or higher besides 2 guys down at the bottom. And it gets expensive quick to stack these guys up. But they just continue to nuke slates, continue to drop touchdowns. I feel like they're playing NFL football out there, dropping 12, 15 runs a game. And it's no different here. They got Wainwright. Right-handed pitching at home. I will always play Texas against right-handed pitching, especially when they're at home. And Wainwright allowing a 13% barrel rate on this slate. I mean, you start allowing barrels to these Rangers, things can get out of hand in a hurry. I love Texas here tonight. Hoop, are you with me?
Full lockstep today. I think the Rangers are in a phenomenal spot, like you said, having just put up just so many runs. They continue to produce. Now they get a really good matchup here at home, and I love the fact that they're expensive. They're expensive all the way down to Mitch Garver. I mean, Garver, their top 7 batters, the cheapest guy is 4.5K. Love that. It's going to keep the ownership in check. If they came in, mid 4s all the way through, like everyone's going to play him. But, Semien 6K, Seager 5.9, Adolis Garcia 5.5, Josh Jung 5.3. It's going to keep ownership in check. And I love that. And the spot's phenomenal. So I'm in on the Rangers all the way through, top to bottom, 1 through 9. You can get creative, do wraparounds, whatever the hell you want to do. Makes sense to me here with this Rangers team. And then Cardinals facing a lefty. I mean, they're immediately on the radar, and they got a cheapie in there too. This know nothing about him. I'm not going to lie. Luken Baker, 2K flat, batting 5th. Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras. Very strong lineup here. Looks like they have almost all righties except Brendan Donovan's the only lefty in there. So both sides in play. Definitely prefer the Rangers. Really like the Rangers today, but also I'm in on the Cardinals too here against Perez. Should be a good offensive game. Not playing either of these pitchers, so let's get like a 12 to 10 game or something here. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I love this game. I think it's a very viable game stack on the slate as well. 7-game slate. The smaller the slate, the more game stacks in general are in play for me. Personally, I have 2 teams today. I have a 5-man stack of each one of these teams across both lineups. So I'm kind of pushing my chips in on this game. I hope it's 15 to 13 or something, and we just see explosions. But hey, I'll take a 9 to 8 game or something like that with a couple bombs on each side. Cardinals, I mean, up at 1 through 9, I think you can play these guys. Luken Baker is an older prospect hoop, but he has a lot of power, and he had pretty decent plate skills in the minors. At what I saw, and he's stolen 2K. The only issue is it's pretty hard for me to stack these Cardinals up with leaving Mr. Goldie out there. But hey, that's one way to be different. Yeah. If you are playing the Cardinals, if they're playing the Cardinals, it's going to be hard for them to leave Mr. Paul Goldschmidt batting 2nd out of the lineup against a left-handed pitcher. But it's one way to be different. Luken Baker, 2K, batting 5th, right behind Wilson Contreras, Nolan Arenado. Jordan Walker smashes lefties down there. It's a limited sample, but the kid's a very good prospect, very good young player. I think he has a ton of upside here at 3,100. So I do like these Cardinals, and I'm in lockstep with you, Hoop. On the flip side, these Rangers are far and away my top stack of the day. I've preached it ever since I've joined SHIPIT Nation over here and started doing shows. Target the Texas bats against right-handed pitching when they're at home. They just absolutely murder, and Adam Wainwright is no guy that I'm scared of with his 13% strikeout rate, 13% barrel rate, expected ERA approaching 7. I love these guys, Rangers 1 through 9. The only guy I'm not super keen on is Leody Taveras down there, but the famous hoop reach around is on play here. So if you're doing the famous hoop reach around stack, he definitely likes those over here. So you can certainly play him. I mean, 3,400 down there, second cheapest bat. my favorite bat, the decision point you have to make here stacking up these Rangers is, are you going to play Corey Seager at 5,900? Or are you going to save $3K and play Ezekiel Duran? Personally, I think they both hit home runs tonight. So it's interesting. Corey Seager's on a tear right now, but if you need the salary, I mean, Ezekiel Duran has a 349 expected ISO against right-handed pitching at home this year, and that's in 49 plate appearances. That's not no four plate appearance sample. It's a very, very healthy sample size, only a 13% strikeout rate. So Ezekiel Duran might be one of my favorite bats on the entire slate at 2,900 at the shortstop position. Should keep a little bit of ownership down because when you stack these Rangers up, you have to make a choice, right? You can only play one on Seager and Duran, which is very annoying to me personally. I wish DraftKings would add Duran's outfield eligibility back, but hey, it does keep both of their ownerships down because they both cut into each other. So overall, not rocket scientists for me, but the Rangers are far and away the top team on this slate here, and I just don't see how you avoid it. Obviously, it's baseball; things can go south, but I kind of just you put yourself in the best chance, right, Hoop? And if they don't come through, well, you load it up again tomorrow, and you come back and try it again. So, last game of the night, let's jump into to the Cubs, Padres. Blake Snell, probably the second chalkiest pitcher, 30-40%. And my rule with Blake Snell, if he's chalk, I tend to go the other way. And if he's not chalk, I'll play him. The old middle school T-chart there that you do in school, yes-no diagram. I'm not going to play Blake Snell here. The Cubs have quite a bit of bats here that are looking like pretty solid numbers, at least projected, against left-handed pitching so far this year. Not to say that I'm going to five-man the Cubs or anything, but I think this is just more of a case that takes me more off of Blake Snell here. A lot of these Cubs have pretty good plate appearances, can work counts and things like that, and I think they can get to Blake Snell a little bit. Talk on any interest in some of these Cubs bats, and then you've been a Padres lover over here. I haven't personally loved the Padres at all this year. It's worked out very well for me. That's one team that I think I have a leg up on you. You got me on the Marlins. I think I've got you on the Padres quite a bit. But are you going to go back to your beloved Padres here tonight as a late night hammer?
Man, yeah, they've been frustrating. That's for sure. Got 772 in terms of the subscribers. So I said I was going to go 775. Tambo said 800. So if you want to get to these plays at the end, I suggest that you hit the subscribe button here on the YouTube channel. Very, very simple. Helps us, helps you guys. We'll be putting more content out for free. Just hit the subscribe button. Very easy. In terms of this game, yeah, I mean, for the Cubs, it would be, guys like Patrick Wisdom, Suzuki, Swanson maybe at shortstop. 3-mans, 1-offs. I'd be fine doing that. It kind of creates the double leverage situation where you're not playing Snell, and who's a popular pitcher, and you're playing low-owned hitters that, have the upside. If they hit a home run, you're passing a lot of teams in a hurry. Padres have hurt my feelings, and, man, I love picking on Hendricks, but they're going to fall down the list for me tonight, probably, 5th, 6th in terms of stacks. I will have some in my 150, but they're not at the top of the list for me. Odor leading off for cheap, 3K eligible. I think he's fine in most formats. The lineup just looks strong to me. They look super strong, but they continue to disappoint. So I can't get too excited and, get a ton of exposure. But I will have some in my 150. Gary Sanchez at catcher, 3.7K. I think you can play him. So 3-mans, 1-offs on the Cubs side. And I will have some Padre stacks in my 150, but definitely not my favorite team tonight.
So I got a little mini stack here that's going to be very, very low owned, 2,200 or 2,500 and 2,200. Probably going to hit 6th, 7th in this lineup for the Cubs. It's Mr. Yan Gomes and Trey Mancini, both smash left-handed pitching. I think both have the opportunity here, even in not the greatest hitter's park, to take Snell deep here. And you save a lot of salary there. There's a very cheap little 2-man. So don't sleep on Mr. Yan Gomes, Trey Mancini. Obviously, Patrick Wisdom smashes left-handed pitching too, but he does have a very high strikeout rate. He's more of a boom-bust guy. You are playing a little bit more there, 3,500 at third base. Dansby Swanson's hits lefties pretty good on the road as well so far this year. 291 expected ISO. I think he makes some sense. So I do think these Cubs guys are pretty sneaky. Nobody's really going to play these guys because everybody wants to roster Snell, 40, 50% of the field. I think these Cubs couldn't get there, and the Cubs have been pretty pesky all year. I've picked on them a couple times with pitchers, and it's just not gone well. Christopher Morel down there, 5,100, probably going to bat low in the lineup. He'll be virtually unowned at 5,100, especially if he's batting ninth, which he's projected to right now. So more of the Cubs side for me. Padres, I'm just going to continue being against Hoop here. Hoop just can never get away from these Padres. He's always going to have a sprinkle of them. And maybe one time they come through for him and he can victory lap on me. But Padres, I'm off of here against Hendricks. And I do think these Cubs make a decent amount of sense here as mini stacks. Hoop, did we get to 775? If we got to 77.5, we will we'll help the people out here.
Even better, 777. Like, that's a nice number, man. I still want more. Don't get me wrong. I want you to keep hitting it, but 777. That's a nice number to end on here tonight. Like, that's beautiful. But again, I still want you to hit it. I'd much prefer us go way higher than that. But 777 does look nice.
Let's go. We love that. That's 3 sevens in the casino win you a lot of money. So maybe that's a good sign, Hoop, tonight. Yeah. Maybe SHIPIT Nation over here is going to ship all the money on DraftKings and FanDuel. So, Hoop, who's your pitcher? Who's your dawn call of the day? Let the people know.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously smaller slate. We've run out of options. We don't have a ton. The pitcher's not going to be anyone sneaky, but, man, this 4K guy looks tasty on the slate. Like, very, very tasty. Andrew Abbott. Hopefully people don't know much about him. Hesitant to click the name, but, man, especially on a slate where we don't have the massive high upside guys. Like, if he goes out and gets 13, 14, 15, you take that for sure. You're going to have a chance for sure with your lineup. So I think he's our pitcher and our hitter. I got to go to the Rangers. Love the Rangers tonight. Love all the main guys, but Jonah Heim at catcher, man. Like, it seems like this guy just is always doing something offensively. Absolutely love him. 4.8K, batting 6. Maybe that ownership stays in check, but Heim is my bat tonight.
Yeah, no, we love it. And yeah, you run out of options quick, but I'm going to give the people another value pitcher so they can make their decisions at the top. Obviously, we gave the pitcher breakdown at the beginning of the show. They can go back and rewind, throw it on 2X, whatever you need. But I'm going to go to Johan Oviedo against Oakland Athletics here, 6,900. He's our top-ranked pitcher. Little sneak peek at our pitcher rankings over here. StatCast data, everything checks out. He's got the best K matchup on the entire slate. Oakland striking out at over a 30% clip to right-handed pitching. I think he posts a big boy score here, and I think he's going to be needed to get to the top. And Hoop, I'm joining locking arm in arm, but I'm going to give the people 2. And hey, they can't 3-man stack this because one of mine is the Mr. Mitch Garver at the catcher position, batting 7th right there, 4,500. I think he goes deep. And then my favorite bat on the entire slate, going in the 8-hole, Ezekiel Duran, 2,900 shortstop. You got to choose between him and Seager. I love them both, but I think Garver go a little 7-8 bomb stack there, a little hoop reach around staple. Rangers are going to drop a touchdown at least today on Wainwright here, and Cardinals bullpen has not been good either. So I think it's a Rangers night once again against right-handed pitching. So that's going to do it for us on the Witching Hour show. We appreciate everyone hanging out here. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already on your way out. But for myself, Nades, for Hoop, let's ship it.